Roses are red, candy is sweet, and in this episode, you're in for a treat. Valentine's Day is nowhere near abysmal, but what happens when you associate it with a ritual? Today, we bring the history behind the day made for love, and Tristan reads historic letters that show what love is made of.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
Da 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 da
Two gays walk into a bar. All right. Let's fuck.
Okay, welcome back.
Hi. It's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day.
Love is in the air.
Love is in the air. It surrounds us.
It's either the best time of the year or the worst time of the year, depending on how you look at it.
Depending on who you are. This is my first Valentine with, ever with being with someone. So I'm glad.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Heck yeah.
We are filming this not actually on Valentine's Day. We're filming it the 11th, but
11th.
it's the week of Valentine's Day. Yeah. So it's a Valentine's Day special.
Valentine's Day special. Womp 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 womp.
Yes, we are both presenting stuff to the table.
Yes, we're both bringing a little bit to the le table. In honor of Valentine's Day and love, what is one of your most favorite love stories of all time?
Love stories?
Love stories.
Oh, that's a really good question.
What's just like a classic that you just love, and it's definitely a go-to, like your favorite love story. It can be like in any movie.
I think of real life love stories.
Oh.
I think of the woman who went to India, and she went to this artist who did portraits, pencil portraits. And, like, he did amazing portraits. Like, he did portraits for princes and things. Like, he was a very high-profile artist. And she visited him, and she didn't really like the result. So she came back the next day, and it was around the same. And his excuse was that he was so preoccupied with her beauty.
Oh, wow.
And... and they both really said that it was like love at first sight.
I love that.
But she wasn't like a permanent resident there, and she eventually, hopped a plane ticket off to Europe, and this was in India, and he did not have money for a plane ticket. He didn't make a lot of money, even though he did amazing portraits. I don't know, but he didn't have money for a plane ticket, so he hitched a bike and rode a bike all the way from India to Europe.
God damn. How the fuck is that possible?
Across, there's no, like,
There's no, like, body of water. Oh, wait, no.
No, India and Europe.
I don't fucking know.
India's
maps,
right there.
bitch.
Europe's right there. He had to go through all of India, Afghanistan, Iran.
Damn.
Up to where she was, and I think they're still married today.
Hell yeah. I mean, shit,
Yeah.
if a man fucking traveled cross country for me, I'd fucking...
And I think he said something like he didn't have a love for cycling, but he was cycling for love.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Just so he could be with his beloved.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. What's yours?
Huh.
That's a good question that I asked. Does your brain go to movies and
I'm trying to think
works of fiction?
Yeah,
because there are great ones that I love there too.
Yeah, I'm mainly like thinking like fiction and stuff.
Well, I mean, there is of course me.
Oh my god.
My greatest love.
Marceline and Princess Bubblegum.
Oh yeah. I didn't get to watch those episodes of Adventure Time,
But it's so cute.
but I heard about it, and that sounds really, really intensely sweet
It's
and
just
rich and wholesome.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Don't know much about that. How about movies?
Movies.
Love story in movies.
Brad and Janet. That's a classic.
Honestly, I at first thought of Rocky Horror Picture Show as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I just can't help myself, I guess.
We're just obsessed.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pocahontas was nice and wholesome too.
Yeah.
A lot of Disney love stories are always really great.
Yeah.
But
Most of them include like them like barely meeting them and then like getting married a month later.
yeah, and then you have just love stories throughout history, like Beethoven and his immortal beloved, who didn't have a name, but he wrote a ton of love letters too. One of which we're actually going to get into in this episode.
Ooh.
Napoleon Bonaparte with his darling Josephine. Loads of loves. Oscar Wilde and Lord Alfred Douglas.
Heck. Oh yeah.
That's one we're going to touch on too. One that has hints of love and also hints of tragedy, and it was just a very tragic relationship. But we'll get more into that in the Oscar Wilde episode.
Yeah.
But we're going to touch a little bit on the lovey-dovey aspects of it too. So, do you want to kind of break down what's going to be going down this episode, just like what we're all going to cover?
All right. So.
And there will be timestamps in the
Yes, of course.
description.
As always.
I'm going to start putting them for the audio platforms too.
So we are like kind of splitting it up like evenly halfway. I'm going to be doing the first part before the break, and he's going to be doing the second part after the break. For my part, I'm just going to go over like Saint Valentine, the origin of Valentine's Day, and like lupercalia. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I'm going to be covering the basis of that.
Sex festivities, by the sound of it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But it's more of a ritual type thing, like the origins of Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the
origins of Valentine's Day, and then
it's like Valentine's Day's origin story.
Yes.
Yeah, like Captain America was pumped full of drugs. Valentine's Day went through this.
Yep.
Okay, and then I am going to be covering, first I'm going to be reading a poem in prose written by yours truly, involving love and a little bit of heartache and heartbreak as well. And then I'm going to cover some love letters throughout history, because our history is in our letters. These aren't just names on a page. They are people that had their own thoughts, their own feelings, and their own relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Some that went deeper than words can even describe, but whenever they could describe them, it was through letters, especially when distance was involved.
Yeah.
And it's just really sweet. And then I will be covering some of the science of love, like what happens to the brain, like what is lust, what is attraction, how does attachment work, how does one get attached to somebody, what chemicals in the brain are responsible for it. We're going to cover it.
I have a little couples questionnaire kind of thing. 14 Valentine's Day themed questions. Not
Sounds
really
fun.
Valentine's Day themed, but just like basic questions
It's
about.
a competition, of course.
It's not a competition.
What does
at
the winner
all.
get?
Nobody.
The
is
winner
gonna,
gets 7 pounds of beef jerky.
There's no win or lose.
I just want beef jerky.
Okay, then you can get yourself
Buy me
some
beef
damn
jerky.
beef jerky.
If I win, and if you win, I'll buy you beef jerky.
No.
And you get to watch as I eat it.
All right, so getting started here, we're going to just stab right into who Saint Valentine was.
We're going to stab right into it.
Stab right into it.
And yes, we are reading off of notes.
Yes.
Because we don't have an hour's worth of script just, memorized.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult. We have to read this, but, it's information that we have compiled.
Yes.
Is kind of how this works.
Our own information that we have
This
gathered from
podcast
multiple websites.
should be a compendium of topics that you can access at your leisure.
Yes. All right. So there are several legends surrounding the life of Saint Valentine. The most common is that on one February 14th, during the 3rd century A.D., a man named Valentine was executed by the Roman Emperor Claudius II after being imprisoned for assisting persecuted Christians and secretly marrying Christian couples.
So not a bad dude.
No, not a bad dude at all. As the story goes, during Valentine's imprisonment, he tried converting Claudius to Christianity. Claudius became enraged what?
The way of the Lord.
Yes. Claudius became enraged and ordered Valentine to reject his faith or be killed. He refused to forsake his faith, so Valentine was beheaded.
Oh.
Legend also tells another story that happened during Valentine's imprisonment after he tutored a girl named Julia, the blind daughter of his jailer. The legend states God restored Julia's sight after she and Valentine prayed together. On the eve of his execution, Valentine supposedly penned a note to Julia and signed it, "From your Valentine."
Okay. I like that. Okay, so she was blind, and then through the power of God, she regained her sight.
Yep. Praise the
God
Lord.
is a kick-ass optometrist. He knows
I love
what's up.
that. So the Catholic Church declared him a saint and listed him in Roman martyrology as being martyred on February 14th.
Okay, so he was declared a saint because of the blind girl? Because you have to, in my understanding, in order to become a saint, you have to accomplish some sort of magical feat.
Yeah.
And that would be a magical feat if, your if your lover who
Because
was
he healed a blind
blind.
person, yeah.
So, from your Valentine. I love that.
So a little of the origin of Valentine's Day. Thanks to Saint Valentine's reputation as a patron of lovers, he became synonymous with romance. In the late 5th century A.D., Pope Gelasius I eliminated the pagan celebration of Lupercalia and declared February 14th a day to celebrate the martyrdom of Saint Valentine instead. Although it's highly unlikely he intended the day to commemorate love and passion. In fact, some modern biblical scholars warn Christians not to celebrate Valentine's Day at all, since it's thought to be based on pagan rituals, but like many ancient traditions, there's a lot of haziness surrounding the origins and rituals of Lupercalia and how they influenced Valentine's Day.
Well, the origins of Christmas are Saturnalia, which is a pagan holiday festival.
Exactly.
It's where we get a lot of the traditions that we now know as modern-day Christmas.
The day most people call St. Valentine's Day, or simply just Valentine's Day, actually has nothing to do with hearts or flowers.
Nothing at
and
all?
Definitely nothing to do with Christianity or the saint that the church tried to connect it to.
What?
Yeah.
Church, y'all do some wacky shit.
Just like the scores of other pagan celebrations, which
Like
were
Christmas.
Which were hijacked, renamed, and altered.
Ooh.
Valentine's Day is a product of a growing religion hell-bent on absolute control of the population.
Your words sting, PJ.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, they sting the Christians. But you know it's true.
And February 14th has been known for centuries as the definitive peak of the year for romantics and a close second for chocolate lovers. But
Dude.
history shows us that this holiday wasn't always wrapped in stuffed animals and jewelry. In fact, its roots date back to this ancient pagan tradition, which is known as Lupercalia.
Yeah. Much of what we associate with Valentine's Day, like the giving of hearts and gift cards and presents and chocolates, I think that's probably mostly an American thing, because Americans like to have a big focus on giving away lots of things. Because in order to give away lots of things, you have to buy lots of things.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure that that's kind of where it mainly got popular and kind of became what it is today.
Yeah.
You know, the big deal that it is today. You know, like 14 things to get your boyfriend for Valentine's Day. You know, it's everywhere, and it's all stuff that you can buy from my link on Amazon. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of become. I mean, it is just a capitalist holiday, much like Christmas is. That being said, we are going to celebrate it.
Yeah, we're still going to celebrate it.
But I'm not really buying you anything. I'm making you things.
Yeah.
You know, like we're just gonna celebrate Valentine's Day by just being together.
Yep.
You know, and I'm writing him a song.
Ooh, yes, I'm so excited.
I'm learning how to play the ukulele. I'm not musically inclined at all. I've tried to learn the piano. It's really hard for me to, you know, really just get the ball rolling, because it's just a lot at once. Because I'm just blind to that, you know, world. I just don't think that way, I guess. I don't know why it's so difficult for me.
I need to start thinking of what I'm going to do for you.
Well, just by being there. That's all I really need. But
I love you so much.
I love you too. But the piano is just like a lot to learn at once, but the ukulele is just 4 strings.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, it's a lot. Like I'm still trying to get strumming right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to find a technique that works for me perfectly, that I can do up, down consistently, have it sound consistently the same. And also, like, working the chords is challenging, man. It is challenging. Like especially while I'm strumming. Like
chords.
Seeing guitar players do this. Like that is fucking crazy to me, dude. Like I have a new appreciation for just how hard that is, because the ukulele is just whooping my ass, you know. But I'm doing it. I'm trying.
I'm doing it. You're getting it.
And like my song, like I want to have it done by Valentine's Day, so it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be passable, and it'll be cute because
I'm here for it.
Because I wrote it. So.
All right. So this ancient festival was filled with nudity. Sexuality, ritual sacrifices, feasting, games, and history, all wrapped up in a healthy dose of naughtiness.
Well, you kind of had naughtiness at the nudity.
Yeah. From what we know today, the festival was centered on honoring the wolf who suckled Romulus and Remus, the twin founders of the Roman Empire.
Aren't they dudes?
Mm-hmm.
A wolf suckled dudes. You don't think that would, like, you know, kind of hurt your nipple? A wolf has sharp ass teeth. Like, isn't it the case that when
the wolf is what? No.
You said suckled, right?
Yes, but think of it the other way. The babies were.
I thought a wolf was being suckled by Romulus and Remus, you know.
No,
like
it says the wolf who suckled Romulus and Remus.
I was just thinking, like, that would be really uncomfortable for your nipples, because, like, when a baby teeth, doesn't it start to become kind of painful to do that? And wouldn't a wolf be like that on steroids, right?
Yeah.
Just like a sharp, jagged tooth ass wolf, just like
they're not
clasping to your nipple.
Nipple. They're like using their lips.
And also, I was like, how would a man? I mean, he is a god, but how would a man suckle it? But it makes sense that it's the other way around.
Yeah, but like
I assume the wolf is female.
The word suckled doesn't just literally mean suckled. It also means like cared for and like took into, like took under our wing. Yeah.
Ooh.
According to Roman legend, the ancient king Amulius ordered Romulus and Remus to be thrown into the Tiber River to drown in retribution for their mother's broken vow of celibacy.
So wait, so they had to suffer for what their mother did?
Yeah.
Fucking
a servant.
Ancient legends are so harsh, bro.
Yeah. A servant took pity on them, however, and placed them inside a basket on the river instead.
That's a familiar theme, a basket with a baby floating down a river.
The river god carried the basket and the brothers downriver to a wild fig tree where it became caught in the branches. The brothers were rescued and cared for by a she-wolf in a den at the base of Palatine Hill, where Rome was founded.
So they were whisked away just to the river current in a basket, and they were found by a wolf and raised.
And that is how they founded Rome.
Wow.
The twins were later adopted by a shepherd and his wife and learned their father's trade. After killing the uncle who ordered their death, they found the cave den of the she-wolf who nurtured them and named it Lupercal.
Lupercal.
Which the cave where the ritual is usually done at is called Lupercal Cave, and it was named after by that wolf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they were all growed up. They had a little mammy and pappy.
A little mammy and pappy.
Killed the pappy, went back to the wolf, named her Lupercal.
Yes.
I like that. That's a very wholesome tale.
Yes.
Get taken in by
it's a very nice tale.
Get taken in by a shepherd and his wife.
And
Kill the shepherd.
And it's just a big fuck you to that king, you know?
Yeah.
That was like, throw him in the river or drown them in the river. So on to the ritual.
What's next? The rituals of Lupercalia?
Yeah, the ritual of Lupercalia.
Oh my god, let's do this.
At the start of the celebration period, the high priest would ritually sacrifice dogs and goats in a cave called Lupercal on Palatine Hill.
How about the dogs?
Yeah, I know.
You gotta hang up about dogs.
Immediately after the killing, 2 young male priests were led to the altar with their foreheads touching.
Okay.
The blood from the sacrificial knife was smeared on their joint foreheads and then wiped clean with a piece of wool dipped in milk, which at the time were required. And at the time they were like required to laugh while it was happening.
They were required to laugh.
Yes, but no one is certain why the laughter was a part of it. But it was
well,
included.
if that's what the fuck you're doing, it's not gonna be hard to laugh. I laugh just you saying it. That's some really specific, ridiculous qualifications here.
And the milk stood for the semen, and the blood from the wolf or the dog was to represent the fertility of a woman.
You know, if I were to run a sex festival. Not saying I will. Not saying this in the near future.
If I were to run a sex festival.
But if I were to run a sex festival, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably have people just do some super random, super out there, specific shit they have to do very specifically. And it's actually super metaphorical and meaningful. Like dipping a wool in milk and like dabbing their foreheads with it?
So the blood from the knife was smeared on the joint foreheads while they're still together.
Yes.
Smeared in between. And then they...
Smeared.
But then the wool was dipped in milk and then wiped the blood away.
Oh, okay. So you clean it with the... Honestly, that's probably just a really good tip. We just need to get some wool and some milk. Start cleaning the house with it. Because I think they actually have a good idea there. The calcium in the milk burns away the grime. That works.
So the slaughtered goats were skinned, and the skins divided into long, whips, what they refer to as thongs.
Whips of goat skin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
After a period of feasting, the young men would strip naked and parade through the streets, striking people with the goatskin thongs.
That's awesome.
Since a male goat represented sexuality in ancient Rome, this practice was heavily laden on in eroticism.
That is amazing. Just to have such a hedonistic society. Wow.
It was believed that anyone who was struck with a thong would be granted fertility and would be free from evil.
Oh, dude.
Of course, you can imagine many Roman women, quote unquote, accidentally getting in the way of the light whip.
Like,
some several times. The sight of a naked man running through the street whipping willing maidens and the revelry in feasting over the days must have been viewed by the church as an excessive indulgence and debaucherous behavior.
I mean, I can't say I blame the church on this one.
Yeah.
Because
it's crazy.
But also, where do I sign?
The Romans, on the other hand, loved it. There are some scholars who connect the symbolism of lupercalia with the symbolism of Valentine's Day. The red blood of the sacrifice, like I was saying earlier, and the female menses associated with fertility seemed to dictate the coloration of all things associated with Valentine's Day.
Like a red and pink sort of aesthetic.
Including the primary colors, primary color of cards, roses, and most decorations, like you said, with the pink and white and
white too.
red. Yeah, the white milk was associated with semen, thus completing the circle of fertility. One cannot succeed without the other. Others focus on the goat skin as a focus point. At the time, a goat thong was used as a whip, which was called a febura. Febura, spelled Febura, which closely ties the month the celebration occurred.
February.
Exactly.
Always hard to say. February.
It's February.
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 Yeah, it's kind of a weird one for me. But that's really cool. It all comes together.
Yeah. At the time, there was a strong belief that whipping oneself could drive out evil, an evil which was believed to diminish a woman's chance of getting pregnant. Since the goat was a symbol of lust and the never-ending need for sexual gratification, it became perfect sense to use their skin as the whip. They were basically whipping the evil out of each other and replacing it with lust and desire. And
awesome.
Since the administrators of these whippings were naked, youthful males, that sweetened the exchange.
So you and I are prime.
Oh no, Guppy felt.
Where is this held? Rome?
Yeah,
let's go, dude. It's still.
It's not really still in existence. What's not explained by this ancient celebration is the practice of exchanging cards, buying expensive gifts, giving flowers, or even romance itself, because it's just about sex and lust. Those all came into being due to a written work by Chaucer in 1381.
The old Geoffrey Chaucer,
who penned a poem for engagement of Richard II and Anne of Bohemia, entitled the Parlement of Foules.
Damn, Parlement. I love that.
Or, if you're white, not white, but if you're American,
Wow.
Parliament of Fools.
If you're me, in other words.
In this place,
I pronounce words like a white guy.
You pronounce words like a white guy,
like a dumb American.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this piece, Chaucer makes the very first connection between romance and the holiday itself. It still took several hundred years before all the elements we knew today came to being. Valentine's Day cards and gift-giving grew in popularity in Europe and finally into America in the 1850s. Rising commercialism continues to redefine the day as one of excess, overindulgence, and stress, as partners struggle to find that perfect gift or moment in the moonlight. We should look to Chaucer and his wisdom for advice.
Yeah.
Focus on romance, and perhaps with a sprinkle of poetry and a glass of wine.
I love that. Geoffrey Chaucer, writer of the famous Canterbury Tales.
Ooh.
Yeah, so basically Valentine's Day now is, you're right. Like, it is about stress.
Yes.
And those who are single feel bad that they're single because everyone else is talking about love. And those who are in a relationship, there's kind of this pressure. That's why a lot of people I know don't even, really celebrate Valentine's Day. Or if they do, they don't really go all out for it.
Yeah.
Because if anything, are you really only going to show your love for your lover one day out of the year?
No.
Valentine's Day is just a day to go a little overboard, but It shouldn't be like an excuse to be a shithead through the rest of the year.
Exactly.
You know,
The gifts shouldn't just come on Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, gifts aren't important, but they are a little important. You know what I mean?
Gifts mean the most when they don't expect it anyway. So just like surprise them with some flowers on a day that isn't Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You know?
I have never received flowers from anybody ever. So just a little hint.
They haven't been in season. Just you wait.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Just hint.
Trust me on that one. I'm a super sentimental, sappy, emotional guy when it comes to that.
I'm
so
here for that.
I'm very I get very, meaningful gifts, I feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do.
Thank you. What's next?
All right. So I have a little thing about what Cupid is.
Cupid, the little baby with wings shooting arrows at people's butts?
Yes.
Yeah. Where'd that little guy come from?
Cupid is an ancient Roman god.
Of course he's Roman. The Romans were all about love, honestly.
Ancient Roman god of love and all its varieties. The counterpart of the Greek god Eros and the equivalent of armor in Latin poetry. According to myth, Cupid was the son of Mercury and the winged messenger of the gods. Hold on. According to the myth, Cupid was the son of Mercury, the winged messenger of the gods, and Venus, the goddess of love. He often appeared as a winged infant carrying a bow and a quiver of arrows.
I love the imagery so much.
Those whose wounds inspired love or passion in every victim. He was sometimes portrayed wearing armor like that of Mars, the god of war, and perhaps to suggest the iconic parallels between warfare and romance, or to symbolize the invincibility of love.
Oh, I do like that because it means that, like, if Cupid's wearing armor, it makes sense. Not everyone wants to get an arrow, shot into them. Was that much a part of the Roman myth? Was that he incited love?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Although some literature portrayed Cupid as callous and careless, he was generally viewed as beneficent on account of the happiness he imparted to couples both mortal and immortal. At the worst, he was considered mischievous for his matchmaking. This mischief often directed by his mother Venus. In one tale, her
machinations. Or you can say machinations.
In one tale, her machinations backfired when she used Cupid in revenge on the mortal Psyche, whatever. Yeah. Only to have Cupid fall in love and succeed in making Psyche his immortal wife.
I don't know if it's Psyche, because Psyche is a person, is a character in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's pronounced Psyche in that case.
Yep.
Maybe. I don't know. Psyche is kind of a weird name, but so is Psyche.
So that's a little bit about Cupid.
So, but the modern depictions of him is obviously like a like cute round head, little infant body, wearing a diaper. He's got angel wings. He's got like a kind of like a curly, like a little tuft of blonde hair, and he's got an arrow. That's and the arrows have little hearts on the end. That's kind of the caricature of him that is common now, I think. Right?
Yeah.
That's about what I picture.
That's about right. But also, like in here, it says that sometimes he can be seen with armor.
That's dope. Like Battle Cupid.
Yep.
Battle Cupid.
Somebody better.
That's a good band name.
Battle Cupid. Battle Cupid's a good band name, but I was also thinking like for D&D, if a character wanted to play like a Cupid, or maybe I can make Cupid like an NPC, like That'd a Battle Cupid, and you guys fight Battle Cupid. That'd be fun.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I can make that happen. You can make anything happen in a Dungeons and Dragons. What we're talking about.
It's a fantasy game.
It's a fantasy game. It's a role playing game. It's fun. You should play it if you haven't. All right. I think we're gonna take a break because we're gonna be starting to talk about. We're going to my section.
It's break time.
Now after the break.
It's break time.
I'm going to be reading a poem in prose that I wrote about heartache, and then I'm going to be reading some love letters throughout history, some of the most famous love letters, but Of course, I can't even scratch the surface in just an episode, otherwise we'd be here all day, and there will be beef jerky.
All right, and we will be back.
Bye.
I told you that I only smoke about 5 packs a day. Okay, I don't know why you're such a... sorry. Hi, guys. If you've never noticed, I always have a cigar in my mouth. And you know why that is. It's because I'm stressed as fuck. The only thing that relieves my stress is the Two Gays Walk in a Bar podcast. So if you didn't already know, it's the best thing in the goddamn world. And if you want something that'll put some hair on your chest, other than a couple packs of cigarettes, you can watch the fucking podcast, alright? Now, mother, I wanted some fucking cupcakes. Now, why didn't you...
And we're back.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
Welcome
guys, I
back.
swear, the break was interesting. It is getting hot in here. Excuse my appearance. Excuse my glasses were all off center. Oh boy, how unprofessional of us. Ooh, Jesus. Woo.
Right.
But anyways,
So
we must proceed. The show must go on.
The show must go
So,
on. It must
all we're doing
proceed.
here for my little segment, all right? I'm going to read a poem that I wrote. It's a poem in prose. If you don't know, prose is just like, it's like how a book is written. It's the most free way to write a poem because there is no rhyming, there is no meter, there is no cadence to have to follow, there's no lines and stanzas and quatrains or whatever. You just write, and it's the most kind of free form way to write poetry, and it's I think it's growing in popularity, but it's been around for centuries. And then I'm going to cover some love letters throughout history. We're talking Beethoven. We're talking King Henry IV. We're talking a few U.S. presidents even.
Ooh.
So we got some good stuff.
Ooh.
We got some good stuff playing for you. My foot is asleep. Oh, she's dead. Okay. Now, so here's my poem. It doesn't really have a name.
Okay.
But here it is.
We are here. Listen.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I'm out here. Oh, I'm out here for it.
Love. Some say it's a burning thing, that it makes a fiery ring. Others say that it hurts and scars and wounds and marks. For some, it feels like a total eclipse of the heart, otherwise known as heartache. For some, heartache can feel like a literal ache, a panging of the heart that, much like a headache, can make it hard to focus on anything else. And heartbreak can feel like the very fibers of the muscle in their chest are being pulled apart slowly. Like the heart is literally breaking. I would say that's what it feels like too. There are billions of people on this earth. There are more people dead than living. How many of those dead had their heart broken at one point or another? Did they ever have their heart fixed? They've already been dead longer than they've been alive. So what are the chances they never did? It is possible to fix a broken heart. It comes with time. It comes with having healthy relationships, not just romantic, that can help you see the silver lining. The silver lining that isn't always clear, but it is always there. It comes with training yourself not to dwell on the past. To some people, unwanted memories of a ship sailed long ago come to them as dreams. Unfortunate scenes of a past falsely remembered, leading to the torments of becoming romantically quixotic. This happens to me as well. Only my fictitious scenes of the past come to me in the form of daydreams. They torture me throughout the day some days. But even those days are bearable, if you know your silver lining. That's my poem. It sounds like it's more of like a sad tone, but I like to view it as more of like a hopeful tone. It's just kind of my musings on just kind of what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a perfect segue, I feel, into the love letters, because really what the love letters are is a peek into the lives, complexities, relationships, and affections of people throughout history, just how they talked and how they loved one another.
Yeah.
Okay, now this book is The World's Greatest Letters, from ancient Greece to the 20th century. It's a compilation by Michelle Lovery. I highly recommend that you pick it up and read it. It is just so interesting to read a book like this. But our focus today is love letters. A personal letter is the freshest insight into the past, reminding us that what we think of as history was once real life, lived by people with the same sensitivities and passions as ourselves. Character and motives are nowhere more clearly revealed than in letters. To read an eyewitness account of an important event or relationship is a privilege and a pleasure. As Samuel Johnson once wrote, "In a man's letters, his soul lies naked. His letters are the only mirror of his heart."
Yeah.
So, for the first love letter today, we are covering John Henry IV of France.
Henry.
King Henry. I'm retarded. King Henry the. I don't know why. I don't see John anywhere. His name was probably John, but I don't see John anywhere on this page. Actually,
King Henry.
it's just King Henry IV of France. Oops.
I'm pretty sure his name was Henry.
His first name? Oh, maybe. Wait. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so for the first one, we're covering King Henry IV of France, 1533 to 1610. Wrote a number of amorous letters to his mistress, Gabrielle d'Estrees, or Gabrielle d'Estrees. The beautiful and charming d'Estrees first met Henry in November 1590. He was 20 years older and fell for her instantly. To warn off rival suitors, she was married to an elderly aristocrat in 1591, but the marriage was annulled and she became Henry's unofficial consort. So he married her off to somebody to basically secure her, annulled the wedding, and became his consort. Cool.
Oh my gosh.
He was already married to Marguerite de Valois.
That's so extra.
So because he was already married, of course.
Yes.
D'Estrees died giving birth to Henry's third child in 1599. Poisoning had sometimes been suspected, as Henry was at that point intending to marry her and make their first son his heir. Henry was a hero, both the battlefield and the bedroom.
Ooh.
He wrote love letters to many other women, including Henriette d'Anjou and Marie de Medici, with whom he subsequently went through a form of marriage. Here are two extracts from his letters to Gabrielle d'Estrees. And it's dated February 10th, 1599. I know not what charm you have employed, but I never endured previous absences with so much impatience as I do this. It seems to me that already a century has elapsed since I departed from you. You have no need to urge me to return. I have neither artery nor muscle which does not at every moment bring the thought of seeing you before me, and make me feel distressed at your absence. Believe me, my dear sovereign, never did love do me such violence as it does now. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the way that's written.
Yeah.
You know,
It's beautiful.
It is.
It is.
Honestly,
It's beautiful.
it is quite something that he felt that way about many other women. June 16th, 1593. I have waited patiently for one whole day without news of you. I have been counting the time, and that's what it must be. But a second day, I can see no reason for it, unless my servants have grown lazy or been captured by the enemy, for I dare not put the blame on you, my beautiful angel. I am too confident of your affection, which is certainly due to me, for my love was never greater, nor my desire more urgent. That is why I repeat this refrain in all my letters. Come, 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 my dear love. Honor with your presence the man who, if only he were free, would go 1,000 miles to throw himself at your feet and never move from there. What do you think? How do you like my delivery? Good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Next up, we are covering Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 1756 to 1791. Austrian composer. I'm probably going to read this in the same reading voice, by the way. I don't really have accents prepared. Austrian composer, maintained a bawdy, affectionate correspondence with his wife, Constance, with a Z, a pianist and singer.
A penis.
Yes, she was a pianist, and she was also a singer. They married in 1782 against the wishes of his dominating father and with subsequent financial problems. Mozart's letters are, nevertheless, generally full of fun, as we're going to get into.
Fun.
fun.
We like fun.
F is for friends who do stuff together.
U is for uranium bombs.
Wow. Okay.
N is for no survivors.
Okay. This letter was written on April 16th, 1789. Okay. Just making sure we're recording because we fucked up a few times. Darling wife, I have a number of requests to make to you. First, I beg you will not be melancholy. Second, that you will take care of yourself and not expose yourself to the spring breezes. Third, that you will not go out to walk alone. Indeed, it would be better not to walk at all. Fourth, that you will feel entirely assured of my love. And this is October 17th, 1790, different letter.
Ooh,
year later.
Yeah, day before my birthday.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's what he was thinking about, too, when he wrote the letter.
Yeah, right. Me.
Mm-hmm.
Who isn't thinking about me, though?
Honestly. While I was writing the last page, tear after tear fell on the paper. But I must cheer up. Catch! An astonishing number of kisses are flying about. The deuce! I can see a whole crowd of them. Ha-ha! I have just caught 3. They are delicious. I kiss you millions of times. So it was fun. He basically wrote out, like, hey, there are kisses. Or, there are kisses being thrown at me. Oh, they're so delicious. Ooh, I caught 3 of them.
I love it.
Pretty great. And also, I love your little interpretive dance you have going on over here.
I'm trying to interpret the feeling in every single one of them.
Now, one of the most famous tragic love stories throughout history is Napoleon Bonaparte and Josephine. This was Josephine. This was a real case of Bonaparte loving her probably more than she loved him.
Ooh.
Just because the letters that she brought back were never as full of ardor and passion and just like real genuine love as Bonaparte's were.
She probably getting that other date.
Oh my God. Probably. Napoleon Bonaparte, 1769 to 1821. French ruler, loved the wayward Josephine Beauharnais with a wild and undisciplined passion which contrasted sharply with his precision on the battlefield. He was extremely brutal on the battlefield, but he was actually tender in the bedroom.
Oh.
So he was a lover and
Napoleon
a
be so tender.
fighter. Wow. Okay, great. Josephine never responded satisfactorily with his urgent desires for her letters or her presents. She was a widow, 6 years his senior when they met. That's unusual. Usually, whenever like one of these not ancient, but like whenever these people of the past have a lover, they're usually much younger than they are.
Yeah. Let's see. What's a good example? Shakespeare had a very, very young wife, didn't he?
King Henry IV. We just talked about him. 20 years. 20 years his junior.
Edgar Allan Poe also had a very, very young wife.
And Edgar Allan Poe is also in this book. We're not reading him today, but he has love letters as well.
Ooh.
But she was a widow, 6 years his senior when they met. He married her on March 9th, 1796, and she was crowned empress in 1804. But Napoleon divorced her 5 years later. She was unable to produce an heir. They continued to write affectionately to each other. The extracts below give a flavor of Napoleon's correspondence at the height of his passion for Josephine. I'm not going to go through all of it because it's 2 pages worth, but I am going to go through this first little bit here.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I said, oh my.
Oh my, yeah. Well, and there's much more than what's in this book. Much more.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a whole book's worth itself. This dated April 4th, 1796.
Right.
By what art have you become able to captivate all my faculties? To concentrate in yourself my moral existence? It is a magic, my sweet love, which will end only with me. To live for Josephine. That is the history of my life. I am trying to reach you. I am dying to be near you. Time was when I prided myself on my courage, and sometimes when considering the evil which men might be able to do me, the fate which might have in store for me, I fixed my eyes steadfastly on the most unheard-of misfortunes, without frowning, without being surprised. But today, the idea that my Josephine might be unwell, the idea that she might be ill, and above all, the cruel, the fatal thought that she might love me less, withers my soul, stops my blood, makes me sad, cast down, and leaves me not even the courage of fury and despair. I often used to say to myself that men could have no power over him who dies without regrets. But today, to die without being loved by you, to die without that certainty is a torment of hell, is the lifelike and striking image of absolute annihilation. I feel as if I were being stifled. My only companion, you, whom fate has decreed to make with me the most painful journey of life, the day when I shall no longer possess your heart, will be that when parched nature will be to me without warmth and without vegetation. Love me as your eyes, but that is not enough. As yourself, more than yourself, as your thoughts, your mind, your sight, your all. Sweet beloved, forgive me. I am worn out. Nature is weak for him who feels keenly, for him whom you love. Ending with an exclamation point there. And he goes on to just basically, a common theme with Bonaparte's letters was his entire being wanted him, or wanted her to love him with her entire being as much as he did her. Mm-hmm. For sure. Next, we get to Beethoven, another famous composer. Everyone knows Beethoven. Everyone loves Beethoven. And one important factor in the mythos of Beethoven is his immortal beloved. Ludwig van Beethoven, 1770 to 1827, German composer, scribbled in pencil this letter to his immortal beloved in 1811 or 1812. Thank you. Beethoven never married. After his death, the following letter was found amongst his belongings. The identity of the immortal beloved has never been established beyond doubt. Some experts believe she was the Countess Josephine de Hem, another Josephine, with whom Beethoven fell in love, and to whom he wrote several love letters. Others favor Antony von Brentano, who certainly knew Beethoven and lived near him in Vienna. Though still in bed, my thoughts go out to you, my immortal beloved, now and then joyfully, then sadly, waiting to learn whether or not fate will hear us. I can live only wholly with you, or not at all. Yes, I am resolved to wander so long away from you, until I can fly to your arms and say that I am really at home. Send my soul enwrapped in you into the land of spirits. Yes, unhappily it must be so. You will be the more resolved since you know my fidelity. To you, no one can ever again possess my heart. None, never. Oh, God. Why is it necessary to part from one whom one loves so? And yet my life in Vienna is now a wretched life. Your love makes me at once the happiest and the unhappiest of men. At my age, I need a steady, quiet life. Can that be under our conditions? My angel. I have just been told that the mail coach goes every day, and I must close at once so that you may receive the L at once. Be calm. Only by a calm consideration of our existence do we achieve our purpose to live together. Be calm. Love me. Today. Yesterday. What tearful longings for you. You. My life. My all. Farewell. Oh, continue to love me. Never misjudge the most faithful heart of your beloved L. Ever thine, ever mine, ever for each other. So,
That's beautiful.
So that's those gaps in my diction were basically actually lines that he wrote, just like separating his thoughts all together, all quickly. He had to scribble it. He had to scribble it in pencil so that the letter could be delivered, so that she could actually get it on time. And it actually
He zooped.
And it's actually written with a lot of the grammatical errors and spelling errors that he did. which is pretty interesting. It gives it extra flavor. So now we're going to cover some U.S. presidents, actually. Woodrow Wilson, 1856-1924, 28th President of the United States, wrote this letter to his future wife, Ellen Axon Wilson, on June 21st, 1885. Their marriage, as witnessed by their beautiful love letters to each other, was exceptionally loving and harmonious.
Oh.
Indeed it was. It seems altogether too good to be true that our bondage to pen and paper is at last at an end. This letter will reach you on Monday, and on Tuesday I shall go to my darling to carry the words of love with which my heart is so full, to consecrate to her my life, that it may be spent in making perfect the fulfillment of all the sweet promises in which our love for each other is so rich. Ah, my sweetheart, I wish that I could show you some of the gladness with which these thoughts fill me, but it is literally unspeakable. It is not translatable into anything but high spirits and a tumultuous throbbing at the heart.
Oh.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
And that's it from the book. Next, I'm going to reference a love letter from George H.W. Bush to Barbara Bush.
Ooh, interesting.
Late U.S. President George H.W. Bush was surprisingly romantic in his letters to his wife, Barbara. In 1942, on the heels of World War II, Bush enlisted in the Navy while stationed overseas, wrote letters to both his parents and to his then-girlfriend, Barbara Pierce.
Barbara Pierce.
So that's actually really, really cool. They were together while he was actually in the military.
Yeah.
He wrote love letters while she was still his girlfriend. They eventually became married, and she became his first lady.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. That's really wholesome. To this day, only one love letter to Barbara remains from the former president's time overseas, as Barbara reportedly lost the majority of her letters in a move after the pair were married. Oof, Barbara.
Oof, Barbara.
Why you gotta lose a Barbara is the only one
for you, Barbara.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
in the surviving letter. Bush joyfully explained how he envisioned the couple's future. This should be a very easy letter to write. Words should come easily, and in short, it should be simple for me to tell you how desperately happy I was to open the paper and see the announcement of our engagement. But somehow I can't possibly say all in a letter I should like to. I love you, precious, with all my heart, and to know that you love me means my life. How often I have thought about the immeasurable joy that will be ours someday. How lucky our children will be to have a mother like you. Now,
That's very cute. I like that a lot.
it's cute. Ronald Reagan to Nancy Reagan, another former president whose romantic writings are worth mentioning. Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
In a letter to his wife, Nancy, in 1972, prior to their 20th anniversary, so they've been married a long time here. Reagan, who at the time and prior to his presidency was serving as the governor of California, he penned a romantic note to his wife expressing his undying love for her and explained that he never wants to leave her side.
Ooh.
Shifting of the page here. This is a short one. The important thing is I don't want to be without you for the next 20 years or 40 or however many there are. I've gotten very used to being happy, and I love you very much indeed.
Aw,
Nice and short.
that is very cute.
And my final love letter today is Oscar Wilde to Lord Alfred Douglas.
We gotta bring some gay into it.
Oh, don't worry about it. Got to bring some gay into it, and I'll bring some gay into my performance too, don't you worry. In June 1891, Irish poet and playwright Oscar Wilde met Lord Alfred Bosie Douglas, a then 21-year-old Oxford undergraduate and talented poet, who had come to be the author's muse and lover. In fact, it was during the course of their affair that Wilde wrote Salome and 4 great other plays, to which, to this day, are the cornerstone of his literary legacy. Unfortunately, their relationship was not accepted at the time, and the duo carried on their affair in secret. Wilde's surviving letters, luckily, made their enduring power of their love clear. I will say there is a little more to their relationship than it's just a love affair gone tragic. There were points in their relationship when Wilde hated Bosie and the other way around, because it was largely because of him that Wilde was sentenced to 2 years hard labor, and ruined his career for gross indecency, not quite sodomy, but that is what Bosie's father, the Marquis of Queensberry, wanted to try him with. It basically ended Oscar Wilde's life, was this relationship. And honestly, he was married to a woman, Oscar Wilde was, so it's very likely he was bisexual because he did claim to love her a lot, and he had a lot of love letters to Constance, his wife. But here is the letter, short one here. Everyone is furious with me for going back to you, but they don't understand us. I feel that it is only with you that I can do anything at all. Do remake my ruined life for me, and then our friendship and love will have a different meaning to the world. I wish that when we met at the Rouen, we had not parted at all. There are such wide abysses now of space and land between us, but we love each other. Yeah.
It's good. This cute. This real cute.
That's real cute, boy.
That's real cute.
Next, we're going to talk about the science of love here.
Science. Science.
The science of
rules.
lust, attraction, companionship. What's really happening in the brain, all right? What's really happening in the brain when you fall in love? When you get that, when you get that spark. What is love at first sight? Is that even real? Probably not. But it was for me and PJ. Actually, it honestly was. Like, I would say our situation was kind of a love at first sight, but I don't think it probably isn't that way for most people. And don't feel bad if it's not. If you don't fall in love with someone at the first sight, it doesn't always have to be like a fairy tale type of thing. Most of the time, you just fall in love based on getting to know somebody.
Exactly.
And just having experiences with them, just being with them, and that's where the attachment comes in. But we're getting into that. Google the phrase biology of love, and you'll get answers that run the gamut of accuracy. Needless to say, the scientific basis of love is often sensationalized, and as with most science, we don't know how to draw firm conclusions about every piece of the puzzle. What we do know, however, is that much of love can be explained by chemistry. So if there's really a formula for love, what is it and what does it mean?
A formula. What's the formula?
What is it?
love?
Well, think of the last time you ran into someone you found attractive. You may have stammered, your palms may have sweated, you may have said something incredibly asinine and tripped spectacularly while trying to saunter away. You may have just embarrassed yourself completely. You don't know how to.
There was one time where
don't know how to talk to the hotties.
There was one time where me and it was like, okay, so me, my two sisters, and my mom went out to dinner one time to Colden's, and there was this waiter that was very, very attractive, and he was kind of giving me vibes a little bit. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna shoot my shot. So I gave him my phone number, and he was like, "Sorry, I have a girlfriend," and I'm just like, "Oh fuck, dude, that fucking sucks."
That's gotta happen,
man.
though. That's gotta happen. Ever so often, the game is hard, especially for a young gay man in Arkansas.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
But
tough game out there.
Now we found each other, and we don't have to worry about the hard game anymore.
Oh, Valentine's Day special. So corny and cheesy.
The Valentine's Day special.
I love you too. Chances are your heart was thudding in your chest. It's no surprise that for centuries, people thought love, and most other emotions for that matter, arose from the heart. As it turns out, love is all about the brain, which in turn makes the rest of your body go haywire.
Must be love on the brain.
All right. Romantic love can be broken down into three categories of lust, attraction, and attachment. Each category is characterized by its own set of hormones stemming from the brain. And I'm going to put up a little table up on the screen. But basically, lust is testosterone and estrogen. Attraction is dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. And attachment is oxytocin and vasopressin. I may not be saying that one right.
Vasopressin.
Vasopressin, that sounds right. Lust is driven by the desire for sexual gratification, of course. The evolutionary basis for this stems from our need to reproduce, a need shared among all living things. So that's what lust is for. Lust is your body saying, hey, it's time to procreate. Let's do this thing. For humanity, you know.
Woo!
The hypothalamus of the brain plays a big role in this, stimulating the production of the sex hormones testosterone and estrogen from the testes and ovaries. While these chemicals are often stereotyped as being male and female, respectively, both play a role in men and women. So you got estrogen, especially you, JK. But we all have testosterone and estrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah. As it turns out, testosterone increases libido in just about everyone. The effects are less pronounced with estrogen, but some women report being more sexually motivated around the time they ovulate.
I've been wanting to just stick my fingers under this.
You can. It's a little floating little magnet ball. Just don't touch the ball because then it will go clunk against the thing. All right, that's enough.
Cool.
It is really cool. The effects are less pronounced with estrogen, but some women report being more sexually motivated around the time they ovulate when estrogen levels are highest. So both testosterone and estrogen play a role.
Oh, yeah. Bound chicken bound.
Meanwhile, attraction seems to be a distinct, though closely related phenomenon. While we can certainly lust for someone we're attracted to and vice versa, one can happen without the other. Attraction involves the brain pathways that control reward behavior, which partly explains why the first few weeks or months of a relationship can be so exhilarating and even all-consuming.
Yeah.
That's called the honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase.
When your attraction to each other is at its peak. Dopamine, produced by the hypothalamus, is a particularly well-publicized player in the brain's reward pathway. It's released when we do something that feels good to us. Anything from working out to scrolling on your phone. If it elicits a positive response in your brain, it's dopamine produced by the hypothalamus. High levels of dopamine and a related hormone, norepinephrine, are released during attraction. These chemicals make us giddy, energetic, euphoric, even leading to decreased appetite and insomnia. So basically, you can fall in love so hard you can't eat or sleep.
Wow.
In fact, norepinephrine, also known as noradrenaline, may sound familiar because it plays a large role in the fight-or-flight response, which kicks into high gear when we're stressed and keeps us alert. Brain scans of people in love have actually shown that the primary reward centers of the brain include the ventral tegmental area and the caudate nucleus. They fire like crazy when people are shown a photo of someone they are intensely attracted to, compared to when they are shown someone they feel neutral towards, like an old high school acquaintance. So when you fall in love, there are certain parts of the brain that just flare up intensely, and it's only for attraction. Finally, attraction seems to lead to a reduction in serotonin, a hormone that's known to be involved in appetite and mood. Interestingly, people who suffer from obsessive-compulsive disorder also have low levels of serotonin, leading scientists to speculate that this is what underlies the overpowering infatuation that characterizes the beginning stages of love. Being serotonin.
Serotonin. That's a good drag name.
Being a reduction in serotonin leads to the feeling of love.
That's a good drag name. Serotonin.
That is. Serotonin.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's a potential idea there. Last but not least, attachment is the predominant factor in long-term relationships. While lust and attraction are pretty much exclusive to romantic entanglements, attachment mediates friendships, parent-infant bonding, social cordiality, and other intimacies as well. The two primary hormones appear to be oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin is often nicknamed cuddle hormone for this reason. Like dopamine, oxytocin is produced by the hypothalamus and released in large quantities during sex, breastfeeding, and childbirth. This may seem like a very strange assortment of activities, not all of which are necessarily enjoyable, depending on how you're doing them, but the common factor here is that all these events are precursors to bonding. It also makes it pretty clear why having separate areas for attachment, lust, and attraction is important. We are attached to our immediate family, but those other emotions have no business there. Let's just say people who have, So basically, like these sciences in your brain and the processes your brain goes through, lust, attraction, and attachment, they're all pretty different. And it's kind of good that they are, that you can feel one and not the other for somebody. But you can also feel all of them, you know. This all quite paints a rosy picture of love, you know. Hormones are released, making us feel good, rewarded, close to our romantic partners. But that can't be the whole story. Love is often accompanied by jealousy, erratic behavior, irrationality, and along with a host of other less than positive emotions and moods. It seems that our friendly cohort of hormones is also responsible for the downsides of love.
Ooh.
Dopamine, for instance, is the hormone responsible for the vast majority of the brain's reward pathway, and that means controlling both the good and the bad. We experience surges of dopamine for our virtues and our vices. In fact, the dopamine pathway is particularly well studied when it comes to addiction. The same regions that light up when we're feeling attraction light up when the drug addicts take cocaine and when we binge eat sweets. For example, cocaine maintains dopamine signaling for much longer than usual, leading to a temporary high. And in a way, attraction is much like an addiction to another human being.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, so I guess in a way, it's just
like we're addicted to cocaine, but we're addicted to each other in a way. Similarly, the same brain regions light up when we become addicted to material goods, as when we become emotionally dependent on our partners. And addicts going into withdrawal are not unlike love-struck people craving the company of someone they cannot see.
What's like it actually brings a lot more sense to the Kesha song "Your Love Is My Drug."
Yeah,
where your love is my drug.
I mean, yeah, because it is a drug.
And she like even talks about in the song like going through like withdrawals because like she doesn't have their love. So it's like interesting.
You can realistically draw a parallel to drug addiction and love addiction.
Well, technically, drugs are chemicals.
Yeah.
And are in the brain.
Is triggered by chemicals that it makes itself.
So we have our own drugs in our own body that will be triggered.
Precisely. And like heartache or heartbreak is a lot often much like withdrawal from a drug you're addicted to.
Ooh. Interesting.
The story is somewhat similar for oxytocin. Too much of a good thing can be bad. Recent studies on party drugs such as MDMA and GHB show that oxytocin might be the hormone behind the feel-good, sociable effects these chemicals produce. These positive feelings are taken to an extreme in this case, causing the user to disassociate from his or her environment and act wildly and recklessly. Furthermore, oxytocin's role as a bonding hormone appears to help reinforce the positive feelings we already feel towards the people we love.
Wow.
That is, as we become more attached to our families, friends, and significant others, oxytocin is working in the background, reminding us why we like these people and increasing our affection for them. While this may be a good thing for monogamy, such associations are not always positive. For example, oxytocin has been suggested to play a role in ethnocentrism, increasing our love for people in our already established cultural groups and making those unlike us seem foreign. So oxytocin is where a lot of xenophobia comes from. Thus, like dopamine, oxytocin can be a bit of a double-edged sword. It can be good or bad. And finally, what would love be without embarrassment? Sexual arousal, but not necessarily attachment, appears to turn off regions in our brain that regulate critical thinking, self-awareness, and rational behavior, including parts of the prefrontal cortex. In short, love makes us dumb. Yep. Have you ever done something when you were in love that you later regretted? Maybe not, but probably have. So in short, there is a sort of a formula for love. However, it's a work in progress, and there are many questions left unanswered. And as we realize by now, it's not just the hormone side of the equation that's complicated. Love can be both can be both the best and the worst thing for you. It can be the thing that gets us up in the morning, or what makes us never want to wake up again.
Yeah, but
so I probably couldn't even define love in 10,000 pages.
Nope.
And that's a bit of the science of love. It's a lot of dopamine, oxytocin, a little bit of serotonin being pushed back.
There's a song by the band Borns that's called Dopamine. And every time you said dopamine, it was playing in my songs. Let me get that stream of dopamine.
Yeah, that's a great song. And now to wrap up this Valentine's Day special.
We are going to play the game. Yeah.
Yes, I've not been prepared. I don't know what the questions are.
I tried to not even like pay attention to what the questions are so that I could give my most like genuine answer.
Oh, so you don't know what the questions are.
Let me put to my I mean I do know what the questions are.
You haven't been thinking about them.
I just haven't been thinking about them.
Okay.
All right. So, to start it out, so like I said at the beginning, I have 14 questions just for us to either answer together or answer about each other. Question number 1, what was your first impression about me?
Fun.
First impression, fun. I got nerdy and talkative.
Yeah. And I thought you were really fun to talk to. So I guess if I had to do like a one-word adjective, I would say fun.
Awesome. That's fun. All right. Question number 2.
And then you're going to be answering these for me?
I just answered it like right after.
Oh, okay. So we're both, duh. We're going
just
back and
both
forth.
we're just both going to answer.
Makes sense.
Question number 2. What did you like or love about your partner?
What do I?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say is that you're fun. Like, I don't think I have gone a single day being with you. I haven't, laughed uproariously on some time throughout the day. And that's not even with you trying. And, like, I do the same thing for you. Like we're just always laughing.
Ourselves.
We're just always so goofy. And that's probably the thing I love most about you.
Oh, I love you. I mean, I guess what I would say, it just simply is like just everything. It's just I can't like pick exactly like something specific that I love most about you.
You like that hot bod.
I love the hot body.
Hot damn.
All right. Question number 3.
Number 3.
How did our relationship start? We like met at a party when him and his last girl were together, and we kind of like sparked and connected a little bit on a friendship level, and we like talked for like hours.
But the other relationship ended for other reasons that we're not going to get into, of course.
Yeah, no.
But it wasn't like a situation of I left them for you or anything like that. No, it's just that relationship ended of its own accord, and then we just started talking. We just
it just happened.
It was honestly kind of like a spark moment. It never felt weird.
Yeah. All right. So, do you feel the same way you felt about me at the beginning of our relationship that you do now?
Yes.
Yeah? Awesome.
Well, actually, no, I can't say that because I didn't know as much about you as I do now. Mm-hmm. I would say I love you more, obviously, because even though it was love at first sight, I didn't know anything about you. I didn't have knowledge to back up the love. I just had a feeling, but now I have like that initial spark is still there because it's kind of like it's just so I would say I love you more than I did when I first met you.
Yeah, I definitely like in a way feel the same way how I first when I first met you, but when our relationship like before it started or like at the very beginning, like I was like just trying to get myself in the headspace of like if it doesn't work out, it's okay. And
of course, you don't want to.
But like
we didn't come in with like expectations or anything.
It just happened.
We try to keep it as very low stress as possible. We just let everything kind of happen as it felt naturally,
All right. So this is question number 5. Have you started to do something because of each other's influence? Name a thing.
I am learning the ukulele, and we are podcasting.
Let's see what
And I would say the ukulele is directly because of you, because I'm writing a song for you.
Yeah, I mean, and it is my ukulele.
That too.
I think, your style has also changed a lot since.
Oh yeah, my style has changed so much. I'm now a lot more. I'm now a lot more of a cool guy. You know?
Colorful.
I'm
You're
a
lot
cool
more
guy.
colorful.
People look at me and they think, "Oh, he's a cool guy."
Do you think I have done anything like?
Maybe working out more.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I've definitely started
I'm working out
more.
all the time,
Yeah.
and I always ask you if you want to go to the gym with me.
Yeah.
So,
I'm definitely
that.
trying to. So there's that.
Yeah.
I'm eating pretty much the same, so that's not really anything different.
Right.
Sleeping pretty much the same.
Yeah. I haven't really jarred your I haven't really changed you. I think you're perfect just the way you are. I don't think there's anything really change.
Well, it's not that I'm like trying to change you, really.
I know, it's all
Yeah.
stuff I'm doing myself.
Yeah, it's just stuff that you're kind of learning and you're just getting comfortable.
Love yields inspiration and motivation. And that's where I get the motivation to learn the uke, or, sometimes it's motivation for love that helps me go work out. Like I want to look nice and tight for my partner. That's always a thought in my head.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Question number 6. How often do you laugh together?
Well, I just said that every night.
Yeah.
All the time.
Pretty
Constantly.
much all the time, yeah.
Yeah. We did throughout this podcast.
Yes. When was the last time you dreamt about me?
I don't dream a lot.
Have you ever dreamt about me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I usually just drift off into daydreams. I don't really dream at night. Well, I do, but I don't ever remember them.
Question number 8. Do you like spending time with your partner's friends or family?
We have a lot of mutual friends, and I love spending time with their family.
Yes. I also like spending time with your family.
Yeah, so that's just a solid yes, yes, yes throughout,
Yes,
across
yes.
the board.
Across the board. How often do you think about me? That's question number 9.
All the time.
All the time? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we live together, so it's hard not to think about each other all the time.
Right, all the time.
Do you smile when you relate something from your daily life with your partner?
Do I smile? That's very much an unconscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do get happy whenever I think of you. Like if we get in a new product at work and I think, oh, PJ will like this, or like I get some free samples for some beauty products. PJ would like this,
Yes. It kind of goes back to the do you think about.
I don't know if I specifically smile, but probably.
When you think about things like about me, like do you smile? Is I guess the question.
I don't know. Probably because I get happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy when I'm thinking about you. So yeah, I imagine I smile.
All right.
I don't, count how many times I smile throughout the day.
Well, yeah, I know.
I
but
probably smile,
I guess it's just a very general question.
just like the thought of you makes me smile.
Can you recall the most romantic moment with me? What would you say has been our most romantic moment?
I had written you a poem.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was one of the first poems I wrote in a while, and I think it's how I professed my love to you. I think it's how I told you I loved you was through a poem.
Yeah. You
I
at
would say
first,
that would be it.
the first time that you showed me the poem or read it to me, you just read the poem. And then whenever you gave the poem to me or I saw the poem, there was an I love you at the bottom corner. And we hadn't at that time said I love you to each other yet.
Yeah.
So it was that.
I told him I loved him through poetry.
I
power of
cried
poetry.
on the inside.
Yeah.
Do you understand each other's feelings without the need to say anything?
A lot of the time, yeah.
Yeah, most of the time I'd say.
They're pretty easy for me to read.
I can
and
read.
know when
Yeah,
you're
I can
upset.
read people pretty well.
Yeah.
When was the last time you said I love you?
just like a few seconds ago.
Literally just a few seconds
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. All right. And last question, number 14.
Number 14.
The kicker. Do you trust each other?
Oh, yeah. Implicitly, honestly.
Yes, I trust him with my life.
Like, he could go through my phone anytime he wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
He knows my passcode, and I really don't care.
One
It's
of
not
the-
something we do. We don't, like, snoop each other's phones
Oh,
in
no.
the hope of finding something, making sure we're not up to no good or whatever.
It's
But if he
because-
did, I wouldn't be mad.
It's because at the very beginning of our relationship, we vowed to each other to just remain 100% honest.
I would say that's why a lot of
That was-
relationships fail. It's
was
just
our-
because of dishonesty, because it builds up over time, man.
And I think that since we have both been through the ringer of dishonesty in relationships, we
Yes.
both just needed to establish that 100% honesty, within reason, of course, not like I mean 100% on yeah, I don't know. But 100% honesty is definitely a good.
And I would
promise to
say that honesty is definitely one of the most important parts of a healthy relationship. And I would honestly say there are no secrets between us.
Yeah, no. I don't keep any secrets.
Yeah.
I don't have any secrets to keep.
I literally can't think of anything I'm hiding from you.
Yeah, no, I can't either.
Yeah. And that's the truth, sis.
That's the truth, T.
Well, that is our Valentine's Day special. It was full of love.
Love.
Love throughout history, a little bit of science, and a little bit of mythology, and a little bit of everything. And a little bit of sappiness with our love for each other.
Sappiness. A little bit of Morgan Freeman.
All right, I'm going to get this lipstick off me face, but I think it's going to make for great thumbnails.
But before you take the lipstick off your face, let me add some more.
Wow, he just smeared it on my face, man. Jesus.
There you go.
I look like a murder victim.
There you go.
Well, thanks for that.
I love you.
Gross. All right.
All right, bye.
Bye,
Let's
everybody.
boogie. Whoop.
Let's boogie.